it.
What was that again, Mystic? What was the line from the last
The
thing?
what?
What was the last thing that he'd see?
Oh, and as you bleed out, the last thing you'll see is me raping your son.
All right, let's go ahead and kick this show off.
Mhm.
Uh,
Wow. Good
Good
night, everybody.
Right on. Have you started
I
it?
may want to run
Yeah.
for Senate sometime, man.
Are we live?
We're live. We're doing it live.
Sweet. Doing it live.
Bella's,
Let me load my
Bella's
pipe
ready.
a bit. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Ashtray got himself a brand new bag.
Made out of people.
Yep, made out of people.
Made out of people.
So, let's do this.
Let's
Get
fucking
my
do it.
shit set up here. Make sure I mute that. Do this.
Yeah, muted, buddy. You mute that.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, in this episode of the Red Eye Report, we talk about kidnappings that scared the world and captivated the media. No children were harmed in the making of this podcast, but they may have been slapped around a little.
I'm going to slap my son right now. Wake up!
First off, we have Oracle. His preferred method of kidnapping is the classic burlap sack. Nothing perverted, though. He just wanted to record their mercy cries for his artsy-fartsy creative writing podcast.
Yep. It's the wind. Those are chimes that you're hearing, not children crying. in a
Somebody sounds
burlap
jealous
sack.
about it.
Hey, nothing
Somebody-
breathes like burlap. All right.
That's
yeah,
true.
right?
That's
Exactly.
true. It's an experience.
You get the
Somebody
full
sounds
audio out of
jealous.
there, but it's also like it's got a little wind mute to it. And anyways, next off, we have Teddy. He was kidnapped in his youth from Detroit and forced to Tennessee by his captors. To this
Yeah, my
day,
fucking family.
whenever anyone asks where he's from, he still draws hope from saying Detroit.
I am from Detroit. If somebody says where I'm from Detroit.
That's
No, you-
Stockholm
right.
syndrome. He's
That's not
fucked
Stockholm
up.
syndrome. I am
From
from
your
Detroit.
dad's testicles, motherfucker, like the rest of us.
I hate you all. Why are we friends? Fucking out
Right?
of here. You fucking
Oh.
We're not.
No, we're not. We just do this for the sponsor money.
Yeah.
I do
Then,
it for the. I don't know what y'all talking about.
right? We have Mystic. He's the opposite. He's a kid giver. Anyone willing to take his daughters off his hands for a night is fine by him.
A week would be better.
It'll give him a chance to take the boot off with the missus, if you know what I mean.
Ah, I don't think they
Mystic
do.
Toad.
Take the boot off.
I don't think they do know what you mean. What do you mean?
Yeah, what do you mean, Ashtray? Elaborate.
You know what you mean. Your boot, your foot
You ever
boot.
hear that ICP song? Fat people are hard to kidnap. Fat people are hard to kidnap.
No, I have not, but that
Oh.
would work great with the show. Anyways, I'm Ashtray. And I tell people that I don't kidnap kids because they're more maintenance than a cat, which is true.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
also tell people you have to find a new one to bury the old one. And this is a Red Eye Report.
Wow.
All right. Nice and dark.
Good night, everybody.
Nothing like kids burying dead kids.
Yeah,
Right.
right?
And
I don't got time
kids
for
Yeah,
that.
do you make the new one
Feeding
bury the old
Balls.
one?
balls
too?
and getting
Exactly.
raped.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do the work yourself?
Kind
You
of
could
dead
just kidnap
dad.
Mouth off,
them.
and that'll be you.
That'll set them straight.
And we've got
Wow.
Bella.
Oh, the precedent. All right.
I swear you get a new live cat every week just to convince us that thing's alive.
Let's see
Hey,
here. Where
her
we
ears
at?
just twitched.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
It's
Oh,
my
As you
little
should.
electrodes that I've hooked up. I've got a button underneath my desk. Psst, psst.
all right. So, anyways, what got me thinking about the kidnappings is I wanted to tell a little bit about my life. No.
You kidnapped?
The guys always tease me that, no, like I said, they're too much.
Okay.
I don't kidnap anyone. They're too much effort. It's hard enough taking care of cats. But lately in the news, the Jamie Kloss kidnapping, which was one of those like similar to the Elizabeth Smart, where they were able to get away and survive, even though like we still I don't think know what it all happened to Jamie Kloss. But there was a recent article that said while she was hidden under his bed, he had a family gathering for Christmas in the house.
Weird.
What?
Yes.
Yeah, that's when the yelling starts. Fuck that.
Right?
And actually, my coworker said that. My coworker was like, "Why wouldn't you just decide, fuck it, I'm gonna like push my way out of here and make a bunch of noise?" And because like they can't all be in on it.
Yeah, well, that's what they probably said during the Texas Chainsaw Massacre too.
Right.
True.
And then good old 108-year-old grandpa fucking knocked someone out with a hammer. She's like, "Well, that was a mistake."
Yeah. So there's the thing is though, like this.
But when you're 13, though, you got to think about that. When you're
That's true.
13,
yeah, and you're 13, like you'd be just like, what the fuck just happened?
And she watched this dude murder her
blow
parents.
her parents' heads off.
Yeah.
It's probably pretty fucking
how traumatized.
Yeah, that's not something you just come back from.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself, there, Chief.
So, let's see. I got a bunch of YouTube videos there in Oracle for the different, as far as some visuals. We'll go back to our most famous one, the old Lindbergh baby. Remember the old Lindbergh baby?
Like it was yesterday.
They ever saw that?
Yep.
Solved that?
Oh yeah, they caught that motherfucker. At least one of them. He always kept like denying his story and stuff. But anyways, old Charles Lindbergh, his baby Charles Jr. He was that guy, the aviator, right?
Who was like a huge Nazi that tried to get us to not get involved with World War II.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
yes, he wasn't. He was famous for fucking the first transatlantic flight. Solo.
Yeah. So, and you can find this old archival footage. It's like, this is the newsreel. And it's fascinating how much it's like our current, like, oh my god, so-and-so was kidnapped, and like, this is the evidence we have so far. It almost seems like it's a, like, corny movie, but like, it's just because this is the early days of the kind of media hype of kidnapping.
Right.
The big gist of it was, in the middle of the night, the Charles Jr. was stolen from the crib. He's only like 20 months old. And they heard a sound that they thought was just lightning because it was a storm out, but it was actually the crack of this homemade ladder that the dude used to climb up to the second story and snatch the little Charles Jr. out of his crib. Left a ransom note of $50,000.
Oh shit!
Which is kind of
that
like
in today's money.
Yeah, that's a lot of
today's money.
right?
What is that? 250,000? Because at least for the common man.
When was that? When was that?
This was in 1932.
Or 32.
32.
So, anyways, this guy, he got an intermediary to meet up with him, and he gave like the little onesie pajamas to prove that he had the kid. So they paid the ransom. The FBI, though, this is like one of the first things where Hoover gets involved, and he's like, we're gonna do it with these fucking marked gold notes or gold certificates, whatever that meant back then. And so they paid the ransom, and then 2 months later, they found the baby's body 4 miles away from the house that he was kidnapped. Buried in the woods. Okay, like just covered under.
In today's money, that's $844,000.
Damn. So the kid probably died that first night?
Oh, yeah. They believe that what happened was because of that crack sound, they think that while he was coming down with the kid, the ladder broke because they said one of the steps was loose. It was a homemade ladder. It looks like a piece of fucking shit when you see the newsreel.
Ladder.
Yes.
Yeah. In 32, that probably wasn't very quality either.
Well, this guy was like his name was well, I'll get to that. Anyways, how they found him.
Was he Amish? Was it an Amish homemade ladder? Because
then it would have been great.
Yeah, he was German too.
Yeah. It was
German too, though. Yeah, German on German. Anyways, they paid the ransom. So they found the baby 2 months later. What they believe is the baby died when he was climbing out with the baby. The ladder cracked and he fell with the baby and like hit the baby, like the baby's head. Like he killed the baby in trying to actually just take it out of the house. And so he just covered it up. Yeah, he's covered it up in the woods, and like we'll just play along. Like we'll still leave the ransom note and like see if we can get them to pay us money.
Jesus.
And so they kept, they basically took the baby's pajamas, so that they had that to use as proof.
What happened to this dude?
It took 2 years later. That they found one of those gold certificates was used at a gas station. His name was Bruno Richard Hauptmann. I believe he got the death penalty. Back then, I believe anyone would have. Next, we'll move on to...
Publicly hung him, too, or some shit.
Yeah. And it was huge, especially because he was a celebrity, That's like... I'm not even gonna get into time for it, but the reminds me of the what's her face, the Hearst, Patty Hearst, that kidnapping. Yeah. Next, though, one you may not have known is Amber Hagerman. She's the girl who is she's the reason for the Amber Alerts.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this was in January 13th, 1996. She was only 9 years old. She was out pedaling bikes with her little brother, and apparently, as the story says, they were going to an abandoned grocery store that was a few blocks away from their house. An abandoned grocery store.
Sounds like some fucking Day of the Dead shit.
Talks about the economic times. So her little brother was 5 years old. She was 9. Turned around because he was scared that they were getting in trouble, and he turned around and went back to the house. She kept riding the bike around, and apparently some pickup truck pulls up and grabs her. This is there was an eyewitness, a 78-year-old man, who saw some guy pick her up, and she screamed, got into a pickup, drove off. He immediately called the cops. And this is one of those where it's just even though everybody did the right thing, immediately when the little brother comes back to the house and the sister wasn't with him, their grandpa was like, well, where is she? He goes down the block towards the abandoned grocery store where this fucking kidnapper was probably hiding. And she was gone. Well, by the time he got to the grocery store, basically within 7 minutes that she left the house, she was gone. And by the time he got down to the grocery store, the cops were already there because that old man saw it happen and he immediately called the cops. And so after it made the news, 4 days later, they found her body in a creek.
Wait, where was this at?
A few miles away. I didn't write that down in my notes.
When he dropped the ball.
Arlington, Texas.
I know. Oh, that's right. Texas.
The place where grocery stores go to die.
Everything's bigger there, even the kidnappings. 4 days later, they found the body. What's that?
Wow. This is such a depressing topic. Makes me want to put an RFID chip in my fucking kid.
Yeah, right? 4 days later, her body was found in a creek a few miles away. The autopsy said, basically what they concluded is she was held alive for probably about 2 days, sexually assaulted, and she died of multiple stab wounds.
Jesus.
Her mother in an interview said that she was not allowed to hold her body because they said she was almost decapitated. So her head was, just held on by flesh.
Way to make us feel better, Ash, right?
Hey, I'm just telling you the gory details.
Yeah, right.
That's why we have a disclaimer on our podcast.
What the fuck, dude?
Jesus
Give us some fucking ray of light here.
I mean, really, you better have some found kids at the end of this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right? Not all kidnappings end with fucking decapitations.
Hey,
oh yeah, no.
Honestly, though, the ray of light is the guy who did that probably thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I mean,
looking on the bright side,
you got to think about that.
I'm guessing they never caught him, right?
No, I don't think they did.
Nope. They never caught it. In 1998. So, 1998, the Child Alert Foundation, founded or basically created the automated system that nowadays is like everybody knows is an Amber Alert.
You touch that annoying thing that comes on your phone, everybody ignores.
Well, it scares the shit out of you sometimes. But
has anybody else noticed that when
there is a statistic which I didn't write down that of all the kidnappings, because the thing is, a lot of these kidnappings I'm talking about, these are like the stranger danger ones, kind of like the Jody Kloss, where
all kidnappings are stranger danger.
No, it's like 1%.
Oh, really?
Dude, yeah,
really 1%.
When they're talking about Jody Kloss, they're like, it's a reminder, or Jamie Kloss. The actual chance that it's just like someone completely random takes your kid is like super rare. Like kidnappings are usually it's parents who don't have custody and shit like that.
Yeah.
Family members. So, anyways, so these though are like the worst case scenario, so that you can get real scared and put an RFID chip in there. Have you ever heard of Johnny Gosh?
Nope.
This motherfucker.
Oh my gosh.
This is a crazy ass story. You can put on some of those videos. Basically, this is September 5th, 1982. This is in Des Moines, Iowa. He is the second milk carton child. I didn't get to this time for the story for the first. But this kid, basically, he goes on his newspaper route in the morning, with his fucking, this is like so Americana, little Red Ryder wagon, and he's got his miniature dachshund tied to it, and he's going to deliver newspapers, and all of a sudden the parents, like at 6 a.m, they're getting calls from the neighbors. This is how fucking small town it was. They're like, fuck, we didn't get our newspapers, and they're like, well, what the shit? They immediately find just the wagon and the dachshund sitting there on the sidewalk, and one witness says they saw him talking to someone, and he just vanished, and so it became this big, it made the news because it was oh, Des Moines, Iowa, white boy kidnapped. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, this guy, Paul Bonacci, some 24-year-old, comes up, he says, I was kidnapped by a ring of human traffickers, and I was forced to help kidnap Johnny Gosh. And Johnny Gosh was sold into this pedophile ring. And he said he knew these birthmarks and these things that supposedly only you would know if you know Johnny Gosh. Well, the FBI deemed he wasn't credible. But then in 1997, the mother says that, oh, he showed up to my door with this strange man, and he had his hair dyed, and he said, I basically was, caught up in this pedophile ring, and
what the
he's
fuck?
this is 1997. After this is 15 years later, he's in his 20s, and he's explaining to her, supposedly, this is her story, that he he was kidnapped into a pedophile ring, but they've cast him out because he's too old now. And this strange guy, like, he would kind of look to him like, do I get permission to talk? And so he's like, Sharon, like, kind of like, wow, he's like now afraid for his safety, and he's on the run, and he doesn't think it's safe to come home. This is what his mother says. And then the father, who's divorced her already, is like, I don't believe this even happened. Fast forward to 2006, mom finds these photos on her doorstep, which are like of those boys bound and gagged. And like, if you look at them in the video, it's like,
I don't want to look at them.
It's yeah, no, it does not look like fucking cool shit at all. It's scary.
That's why I don't want to look at them.
The thing is, though, so it turns out these photos, though, were, I guess, like, found out to be investigated. They were actually some kids in Florida. Remember, this is 2006. Kid was kidnapped in 1982. This is 2006. This is when the internet and photos like this could spread. They think that it was like a terrible prank on this mother because these were an actual incident of kids who were playing some hostage game where they're supposed to like get out of being bound up, also with like handkerchiefs in their mouths. And they, and like this, it was actually investigated by the police, and they could account for like 2 of the kids in this photo. The one of them has still not been identified.
Wow.
Anyway, it's just weird because then there's like all these videos about this, so there's conspiracies that fall off of this because that the like the kind of Pizzagate and the Franklin scandal, which is all that ties into this. The Franklin
such
scandal.
A fucking rabbit hole, dude.
Oh, it is. It's like this crazy rabbit hole where they call the Franklin scandal.
There's a quote here from John Waters, who is the director of
director.
Yes, of Hairspray and Cry Baby and other fucked up shit.
Yeah, Pink Flamingo.
Right. His fucking quote, because they made a documentary about this. An amazing lunatic documentary that will leave you creeped out, excited, and surprised.
Wow.
John Waters.
Yeah, if he's all into it, that's got to be fucked up.
Yeah, well, it's this Franklin scandal was about how supposedly there's this pedophile sex ring where they pass these boys around to all these powerful people, and there was this scandal where someone in politics was accused of being a part of this pedophile sex ring, and there's something like 200 claims of people coming forward. I think what it ended up being like, and this is why this is where it's like alternative histories. It's like the government shut it down. The thing is like, well, the government shut it down because it was unsubstantiated. Like there was no, like it's kind of one of those where the scandal takes off more faster than the evidence to actually back it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they use that as an example.
Kind of like R. Kelly.
True, right? Keep getting away with it till they don't.
This is so fucking weird.
But
this
the
website.
thing is
There's like songs and shit. It's like Johnny doesn't live here anymore. In October,
Johnny can't come home.
In October 1985, there was a song "Johnny Doesn't Live Here Anymore."
Wow.
And so this rabbit hole then ties into this supposed like high-powered pedophile ring, and the fact that like back then, anyways, it was like the Bushes were a part of it. Like that was part of the conspiracy of this pedophile ring, and now
really?
it's the Democrats. Remember?
What the fuck?
I don't remember the Bush thing. I remember the Pizzagate shit with
crazy ass
Pizzagate is the modern. Like it's now they've like I don't know. It's just the conspiracy theorist decide like, well, this is now who's running the pedophile ring. It must be the Clintons now.
Of course they just...
Wow.
Come on.
But it's
Okay, this
Crazy
is
ass-
ridiculous.
Yeah. The rantings of fucking schizophrenics is what it is.
Well, yeah, it's like, and the thing is like, there's even on that website where it's like they have to even, you know, the mother who still like firmly believes this, and she's got this weird website up. Like you'll see there's posts on there where she's getting like, what do you call it?
Trolled?
When you tell someone leave me the fuck alone.
Restraining orders?
Restraining order, yeah. I got 5 of them. No,
I believe.
yeah,
I
like
believe
that
you do.
woman on her website has those posts as like there's restraining orders on these people who are like certain about this conspiracy with her son. It's just fucking crazy. So we can also say, let's see here, what did I miss?
Nothing creepy, that's for sure.
The entire point.
Elizabeth Smart. That was another one. She was kidnapped when she was like 12. At night, it almost sounds like a fucking Lifetime movie. Like a guy comes in to her bedroom with a knife, takes her out, and her little sister in the bed next can't do anything about it, obviously. And but you know, tells her parents in the morning, and poof, gone. And she
In
ends
the
up
morning, she didn't like get up and go tell him.
After
Right
he
way.
run, yeah.
I can't remember what the long the time was.
Yeah, I'm chipping my kid after this shit. Fuck y'all. And Andy's
Yeah,
gonna carry your gun.
Yeah, totally.
Andy's gonna carry your
I
fucking
would
gun.
too. Hide your wife. We're getting raped up in here. So Elizabeth Smart was then captured by this crazy, like, he's almost kind of reminds me of like a Charles Manson, like, oh, we're gonna
Wasn't
live
he
in
out
the
in like
woods,
wasn't
dirty
this out
hair.
in Berkeley or something like that?
Yeah, didn't he have her like in the backyard in
I
a
think
tent
so.
or something? Was this the chicken?
Yeah, like they just lived in
Yeah.
the fucking
Okay.
like woods, this like wooded area, and him and his wife, and the
he had a
motherfuckers,
wife.
yes, with his wife, and it was all like this fucking cult thing where like she was this like sacrificial virgin or something. It was like had to you know, copulate with her and make the Messiah some bullshit. Basically an excuse to
Fuck.
rape her every day.
Oh my god.
To rape the little girl?
Yeah, Elizabeth Smart.
How old was she?
She was 12. I
Wow,
believe.
that's disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But
the
luckily-
wife was okay with this?
Yes, that's how fucked up these two were. And that's why recently, I think it was last year, there was a big stink. Because there was some sort of like the fucking prison system basically had a clerical error that
I hate when that
the
happens.
wife, yeah, clerical error where the wife, it was thought she wasn't going to be released until I think 2025, something like that, or 2022, like something in the 2020s. And clerical error. Actually, we have to let her out now.
What?
And like Elizabeth Smart, you know, like even through the courts couldn't get them to stop it.
Wow.
And it's kind of one of those things where it's like, you know, it's like, well, that's how
So
the
what
law
year-
is the
what year
law.
did she
But
get out?
like, you don't think about too, like, from Elizabeth Smart's point of view, like this person shouldn't ever get out either. Like this bitch
I'd
is
hire
crazy.
an assassin.
What, you don't even have to do that. What year did the wife get out of prison?
Just last year, I believe.
Last
20
year? Yeah, put that shit on. You put that shit on Facebook, some other fucking
That's
thing, get
true.
people angry about
That's
it.
a good
and
idea.
Some idiotic person will take care of it for you.
Yeah.
Like,
You
you're
gotta
like,
make that
right.
shit go
I'm being honest.
viral,
I'm like,
man.
I'm like, yeah, make it go viral, and then like, you
Do
got,
it
Hell
the
you got
yeah.
Trump
people.
way. Do it
Right?
the Trump way.
Right.
Yeah, fuck-
The thing
fuck
is,
hiring
someone
a
else
assassin.
has to
Let
make
the
it go
fucking idiot do it
viral.
for you.
Elizabeth Smart can't do it because she is
Yes,
that.
she can. she get public outrage. Like, this person did this to me, and they're getting out of prison now.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Ashtray ain't nobody blaming her if she tries to get this bitch killed.
Calling on all fucking
You know what I mean?
crazy
I'm
ass
sorry.
people.
She's just calling out assassins, and that's some fucking different shit. But if she goes in there and
She's calling out it. That's what I'm saying. She can't just call out assassins.
I
and you
would.
get a problem with
No,
you.
she did totally, like, she called her out. Like, there was a whole, she went to the media about it. Don't get me wrong. It's like, not like it was a unknown thing. She publicly spoke out against this.
No, stupid people don't watch the news. You gotta get on social media, man.
Yeah, you got Twitter, Facebook.
Instagram.
Oh, Fox News probably.
That
didn't
shit
share
was shared on the Twitters and the Facebooks. I guarantee it. Fucking stay-at-home moms eat that shit up, and they share it.
Yeah, but stay-at-home moms don't murder other people.
That's true.
No, but you're talking about...
You got to get the crazy fringe website people like the Breitbarts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Alex
fine.
Jones.
Well,
Get Alex Jones to
Yeah,
talk about
Alex
it.
Jones on top of this shit. He'll fucking.
Yeah, I guess there's not enough conspiracy involved. I'm surprised Alex Jones doesn't talk about that John Gosh. That's a lot of fucking Pizzagate shit.
Probably does.
He's not still on, is he?
He probably is.
I have no idea.
I think he got kicked
is.
off the internet.
Infowars?
Well, he got kicked off of fucking like streaming sites. I'm sure he still has.
Yeah, like he probably has a direct stream or like.
Somebody go to
website.
Infowars right now. I'll go there.
I don't want to do. I don't want that
That
shit on my phone.
Info.
He's fucking crazy, man.
The only bad thing about it, like they did a John Oliver did a thing about him,
Oh, it's
and-
still there.
and he did a John Oliver did a thing about him, and because he did that thing, like the products about the products he selling on his website, and like he made so much money off that shit.
Mm.
And
Oh
he's
yeah,
trying-
I'm
he's
sure
trying
he's
to tell
loaded.
people
Dude.
how bad it was, and then fucking and like people were like, "Oh, but go buy some of this shit." I'm
Mhm.
like, what? Anyway, go ahead. Continue with the Teddy out.
Yeah, well, the not only the recent kidnappings in the news.
Hold on. This is an actual headline from Infowars. Celebrated Democrat Beto O'Rourke, and Beto is in fucking quotation marks for some reason. Outed wearing devil goat costume. That's in quotation marks also. Semicolon. Left-wing media tries to spin narrative away from Satanism.
I told you, crazy people would have killed that bitch by now.
Sounds legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd think, but maybe
Oh,
crazy
man.
people don't care about Elizabeth Smart.
Media
There's-
wants high schoolers dead. Who will hold them responsible? Holy fuck. This is I can't.
Yeah,
falling
can't
down
be
the-
associated.
This headline,
with
yeah, you'll get too many cookies. You can't get the
Yeah, you
crumbs
got some
off.
fucking bad cookies.
You got bad cookies now,
You
boy.
got bad cookies in your browser, buddy.
Some crazy
Why is my
schizophrenic,
phone yelling everything at me?
right?
frogs are gay.
Right.
Hey Google, fuck you.
Your
Left
phone's
bad.
been infected with HIV. All right. So about kidnappings. To round it off, there's a Netflix movie. Actually, it's a true like crime thing, which is actually fascinating. It was one of those like, oh, I don't know if I'll stay up long enough to finish this, and I like had to know how it ended, sort of thing. It's called Abducted in Plain Sight.
Mhm.
And this is one where it's less of like the ones I was telling you, where it's just like someone out of fucking blue snatches up your kid and they're never found again. This is actually like a guy who befriended this family and had a fascination with their oldest daughter, who at the time was about 10 years old, I think, when they met, maybe 11.
See,
And
this is
over
why you
the-
want white folk in your house.
This guy had he had a wife and kids too. His family became friends with their family, and they hung out and they did stuff together all the time. And then like their kids would be invited. Like, look at the pictures of
Yeah.
like this is the family fun photos. But when you watch this, like you also realize like the parents of this daughter Jan were so fucking naive, and this guy like master manipulated the mom and dad by basically getting involved with them. He fucking got the he he had sex with the mom, like coerced her and had sex with her, and then he also got the dad to give him a hand job.
What?
What?
Yes. It's like you gotta watch this
Come
story.
on,
It's
Bill.
so
Nobody's
fucking
gonna
crazy.
know.
What?
Nobody's
the-
gonna know.
right.
And he
Fuck.
used that as leverage to like.
To get to the
Holy
kids?
shit.
Well, when he finally took her away, he basically was like, I'm gonna go take her horse riding, and
What?
the thing is,
So
they did stuff all the
sad,
time.
I'm
Like
gonna go take a horse ride?
that's how, like, when you watch this, like, that's how they were neighbors, and like that's how often they were invited to do shit with this guy.
Is it just the guy and the
That's
daughter,
her
not no family
code?
friends or anything?
Come on, Jim. Prove to me you're not gay. Let me jerk you off.
Oh, it's like remember
Jerk me off, Jim.
fucking
You gotta watch it.
What
It's,
the
it's
fuck?
ridiculous.
Jones.
Basically, he's like complaining about he took the neighbor, Bob, for a ride, and he's like, I'm just really frustrated. My wife won't have sex with me. I really got to have her release her. He basically coerced him into giving him a hand.
Some good hands,
What?
Yes, I know. When you
Well,
watch
okay,
it, this
wait a
guy is just
second.
mortified. He's like
God,
he's a
y'all
super
are-
simple like Christian, and he's like breaking down in tears.
I understand how.
Like, he
I
feels
don't
like he
understand how-
cheated on his wife, and to him, he did. He cheated on his wife by giving him a
He
handy.
totally did cheat on his wife.
Man, that's
Yeah.
some fucking crazy ass shit.
And he basically uses it to, once they file a case on him after he kidnaps her the first time.
What do you mean first time? You did it more than once?
Oh yeah, that's how crazy this documentary is. He gets kidnapped twice.
What?
Wow.
Oh
It's like, and y'all
He's
see
so
how- what the
manipulative.
fuck
That's why it's
happened?
called abducted in plain sight.
Fucking
Because it's like
white people, man.
I know, right?
Holy
you gotta watch it.
crap.
Fucking
Like,
black
can't
people
give-
just shoot each
give
other.
away the
White
spoil-
people just kidnap
Can't
their
spoil
kids.
it all.
So
Fucking-
that's weird though, because okay, here's the story.
it's
I gotta
totally
say this.
watch.
I gotta say this. When I was, I don't know, between 5 and 7, I have very little memory of these people, but I do remember certain things. Right, so it's got to be when I was really young. We lived in Maryland. We lived in these townhouses, and about 3 or 4 townhouses down, there's this Debbie Petrush was her name. She was a babysitter, right? That's where I went to fucking when my parents went to work. So, and this is years later. I'm like a teenager. My parents are telling me this story, and they're like, "Yeah, so we're sitting around one night, and you kids were all like, I used to like sleep over with their son. You know, he was like a year older than me or something. So we were actually watching Doogie Howser. So I don't even know when the fuck
Oh,
that was on the air. So
was
like
on
that'll
in
give
the
you.
90s.
For yeah,
Early
90s. I think it was early 90s.
Oh, I think it was late 80s.
It was, I think it was like 80s, like late 80s.
Oh,
yeah,
might
it
have
wasn't
been late
90s.
87 to
Doogie
89.
Howser.
Yeah, I remember loving it as a
That'll
kid.
give you an idea of how old I was then.
First episode was 89. Final episode was 93.
Yeah, and
Okay.
it hit.
Okay.
It was one of the first like ones. So it was 89. So I guess I was a little older. I was like 10 or 11.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so but like I remember we were upstairs and shit, and this is the night that it happened. My dad and my mom were sitting there, and these people just put on a porno.
What?
Like it's them. It's like Debbie and her husband, and my mom and my dad, and these people just put on a porn
In the
and they're
living room?
What?
like, yes, and they're like, "You guys want to watch a porn with us?"
What?
While the
Yeah,
kids
my-
are out?
While the kids, we were
What the
upstairs.
fuck?
Oh, you were upstairs, so you didn't see it?
Yes. Yeah, we were upstairs, like, you know, it was a sleepover. We were fucking watching TV or whatever. And my dad is like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Like, he just
Yeah.
freaks out. Like, my dad has a temper, right? So, like,
Yeah,
You don't say.
apparently he
Wonder where you get
fucking,
yours
like, this
from.
dude was like, he was like gonna beat this dude's ass and shit. My mom was like, just get Larry and get out. Let's get out of here. Because if I was 10, I would have had my younger sister she was probably 2 then. So I think she was probably upstairs. They had a younger daughter too. So we were all like hanging out upstairs. So I distinctly remember my dad like going, Just get in the fucking car. Yelling and shit. And I had no idea why.
You're like, what's
Holy
going on? Like,
shit.
Years later, they told me why. I was like, that's weird as shit,
That's
dude.
super fucking weird.
It's super weird,
Yeah.
That
were they neighbors?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
neighbors
it
that
was-
watch children.
Yeah, red light, right? Babysitter.
Shit.
Fuck.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
know what kind of creepy shit they were into. They're just willing to watch a porn with another grown-ass
Yes.
couple.
They were
Well,
slingers,
on-
man.
Kids right upstairs.
Well, they probably were swingers, but like completely unprompted.
yeah.
Or, like,
That's weird.
you know, disclaimer here.
They
we would
totally
like
read
to
that
show
room
you.
wrong, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Swing and a miss.
Learn to read the room.
I'm gonna
now.
break that fucking boner, Bob.
How many Snap it right off. God, how many times you think? How many times you think they've been kicked out of a fucking?
Oh man,
Oh my god.
Dead by now.
that's some weird shit.
If they read that room that wrong, they've probably done it a few other times.
Right.
Other
Yeah.
times,
Yeah, you gotta be pretty dumb. I don't, I've never seen your dad, but I can only imagine genetically, he just doesn't seem like the kind of person who looks groovy.
he was a he was also a Marine, and he's a black belt in Taekwondo. So
He
Damn,
definitely
black belt in
He would've-
Taekwondo.
yeah, he would have murdered that motherfucking dude if my mom had him.
Why is Dad killing that man? Just get in the fucking
Yeah.
car.
Oh,
awesome.
man.
Yeah, so check that documentary out. It's a fascinating. It gets weirder from there.
Does it really?
But it also, this is an example of how, and why too, that like kidnappings most often are not from a stranger, like complete random stranger. Is usually, like they said like 1% or something.
Uncle Jimmy, no.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
so we're gonna move on, ladies and gentlemen,
God.
to
Get your kids chipped
the
and watch out
what's
for 'em.
sexy.
Yeah, we're only 45 minutes into the show.
I did my homework.
Shit, what the
Good
fuck?
Hey,
story.
Yeah,
Damn, man.
dude, I started downloading this game fucking when we start, but like it's almost done now.
Shut
All right?
your face. Missy, tell us about your big check.
Fucking ashtray. About my
All
big
right, we'll
check.
speed it up. Big check, go.
Oh, big check. Okay. Yeah, real quick. This guy in Iowa, some dude, Tyler Heald or some shit. He wins $1 on a scratch off, and he's like, maybe I'll just fucking jokingly go down to the lottery commission. Ain't got nothing better to do, and see if they'll give me a big check. And they did. They wrote him out a big check, brought him into the back room, fucking took pictures and shit. Over $1 scratch off, and he said he spent the money on a half gallon of gas.
Nice.
So there you go. Nice
Nice.
feel good story. But that's funny. I wonder why nobody's thought of that before.
Right.
Stinking
Man,
rich.
it's a waste of
Oh, man,
time.
that's like-
Oh,
That is something that guy can talk about for the rest of his
Right?
fucking
Yeah.
life.
yeah.
Awesome.
Got pictures and shit.
They
I won
probably
the lottery
put,
one time, guys.
Yeah, it's probably just like they have big blank ones in the back.
Oh,
for
I'm
the
sure
smaller
they do. They
ones.
probably did it because they were bored. I'm sure the lottery commission doesn't fucking
Right?
get all crazy during the day,
Mm-hmm.
Especially
Yeah.
in Iowa,
Woo, only twice a week.
right?
Why did you help me?
Word. That's it. That was my whole wet section.
All right, moving on to Teddy, Punisher season 2.
Okay, so I'm giving this Netflix show a try. Punisher season 1 I thought it was okay, not the best. But Punisher season 2, they've stepped it up. It's a lot more violent than the first one. The choreography is better. One of the things I feel that made the other Marvel hero shows fail is because they did not do a good job of showing, one, the powers of the people, and also that they caught your captivation with the first season, and the second season they just dropped the ball. The fight scenes are not as good. This one is fucking awesome. It's bloody. Don't watch it if you have a weak stomach. I mean, I thought they did a better job with this one. And hey, there's a pedophile scene that made me feel good about the topic tonight. So
Yeah, right.
you can always burn the place
Yep.
down, So I mean, yeah, check it out if you like. It's
Nothing better, but no better crowd pleaser than killing a pedophile.
That's true.
hey, Hey,
Right?
that's why they don't make it. That's why they
Oh,
don't
it's
make
like
them,
what
they
was
don't
that
last long in
movie
prison.
Rambo, the latest or the Rambo 4 or whatever that they came out with. There was that pedophile guy, and there was like a 2-minute scene of Stallone tearing his throat out. Do you guys remember that shit?
No, I
In
don't.
the new Rambo?
Yeah, in the latest Rambo. It came out like 10 years ago now, but
Oh, the one where they go down to Burma?
yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't really. I can't remember. I
Yeah,
didn't
there was
remember
a
there's
pedophile
I
like
guess.
general guy.
Oh, the pedophile general.
And then when he goes in, he like picks him up and like slowly rips his esophagus out of his mouth.
That's what the fuck you get for diddling
yeah,
kids.
I remember he was juiced in that movie.
He was fucking juiced, and he was like
I
60
think he looked
years
bigger
old.
than any other movie of his Rambo.
That I just remember that one scene in that movie where he's on the back of that fucking Humvee or
Yeah.
like Jeep or
People's
whatever
Yeah.
fucking
with
heads
that
are
fucking 50
exploding.
cal,
Yeah, just people
mowing down the
bark.
entire Burmese army, fucking
Yeah.
coming at him. He's just
So
wah, 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 wah,
fucking
wah.
over
It's
the
like slow
top.
motion, fucking
Oh yeah, that was a 5-minute scene too.
yeah.
It was just like, man, has the barrel not overheated yet?
Can nobody
Alright.
shoot this guy like
Shit,
far
right.
away?
Like how don't you have to reload those things? I mean, I know you got a big crate, but that's got to go through some bullets. pretty
Yeah,
fast.
right.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. Is that it for Punisher 2?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, moving on to me. Forbes article. They say there's no border crisis. Anyways, I just thought it's sexy because it's a fun little article to throw at the fucking trumpeteers out there. Because why? Forbes is Trump's favorite magazine.
Oh, it is?
Well, he had himself spanked with it by Stormy, remember?
No, I
thing
don't
is
remember
that
it.
you're still subscribing to this theory that information is going to change these people's minds.
And it's not.
You're right.
And it's
You
not.
have to sling shit like they are. You have to just
Yeah.
be the grimy gorilla that flings shit at people.
Grimy
I want
gorilla.
Jesus to come back and be Mexican and blow these people's fucking
I like to
minds.
share stories that I know they're not going to read.
Right? Yeah. Jesus
Oh
is
my
Latino.
God, Jesus is fucking Mexican.
They're like, what?
They're like, fuck Forbes. I don't read that magazine.
Be like the Dave Chappelle scene. Show us your face.
Well, and Forbes isn't something that Jim Bob down in fucking Mississippi is gonna find at the local fucking 7-Eleven. You know what I mean? Like, oh, hey, give me a copy of that new Forbes.
But it can be shared via Facebook now.
Right next to,
Yeah,
right
I
between
know.
us.
Newsstands don't matter. But I like to say I just shared it on the wall of the guy, my high school friend who now posts
high school
stupid dumbass
nemesis.
shit. He wasn't even, we weren't even nemesis then. We used to be, friends, but like he went to the military and retired or like got out of there and became fat and now has kids and just posts like some of the dumbest shit ever. And I can't help myself but point it out every time.
Awesome. So you're mad at your ex-boyfriend.
Well, what does the military have to do with it?
Mad at the ex-boyfriend.
Um,
Nice one.
Yeah.
What does the military have to do with it? I didn't say the military had anything to do with it. I said he went to the military, like post high school, left it, and got fat and had kids, and now we
But you
fucking
listed all
rich.
those things in. But you listed all of those things in like in a negative connotation. That's like
Yeah.
asking
Yeah,
why-
what do you got
why
against military?
that's
Yeah.
why actually.
Trump
do you got
loves
Yeah, 'cause the
What do
military-
you got against being
I bet
fat? and
I
having kids?
guarantee you more than 50% of the members of the
Fans.
military, especially general privates, want a border wall.
Do you know this from? Are you just speaking out of your ass, or
Why
do you
do
know
you
this
think
for?
they will?
I
yeah,
highly
right.
doubt that more of the military members think the wall is a dumb idea.
Where
Maybe
is your
some of the
Wikipedia
top
page back
command.
this up? That's what I'm asking.
I don't have any data, but it's a general feeling that those like military people are
See,
fucking.
now you're
love
talking
that
like a
shit.
Trump supporter.
You're just being stereotyping now.
It's
man.
a general
Talking like a
feeling.
Trump supporter.
Yeah, it's a general feeling that the more people in the military want a border wall, but you have nothing. You've read nothing about it or how they feel about it.
Where's your information? Where's
Where's
your
information?
backup?
Yeah, where's your backup? You're speaking off of feeling and not off of you know. Did I hurt your feelings?
ESP.
Did I hurt your
Right?
feelings?
It's a no. Doesn't hurt
His
my
feelings?
feelings.
He's
we
just a gut
fucking
feeling,
move
Teddy. Teddy,
on?
let him have his Teddy. Let him have his gut feelings, man. Let him have his gut feelings.
Look at
I tend to
Oracle's
agree with him.
back.
I tend to agree with him though.
I can't imagine that like more than 50% of the military would be like, no, border walls are dumb.
I just think
Like
that
they're
it is
conservative leaning. Most of the people in the military usually.
Sure.
Like I can't think of more than. Would you say that more than 50% of people in the military are liberal? Tell me that more than 50%.
I probably no, probably not. But I just feel like there's being conservative, and then there's this insane pipe dream of a fucking border wall. Like those things don't even seem connected to me anymore.
Yeah, but you're not conservative.
I'm not, but
Anyway, let's just.
Oracle's like, I'm gonna punch you through this goddamn screen.
no, I'm not gonna punch you through the screen. I just think that it is just some fucking like insane, completely off-topic thing that isn't relevant. The goddamn fucking country is shut down because of this.
I think
fucking
you're
bullshit.
both kind of right. I think Ashtray, you're probably right in the fact that probably over 50% of the general military, like the enlisted, the privates or whatever, are probably very conservative. But I think it's a way less number that actually want a border wall, because that is an absurd fucking idea.
Is it really that important? Do we need the fucking wall?
No, it's not important at all.
No, and I'm not.
So here we
Meredith-
have
Meredith
says that her husband is a former Marine and very liberal and anti-border wall.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's the
Same
thing. Like,
here.
and well, you're right. That's what I'm saying. Oracle's fucking. He was a Marine.
Yeah,
All
he was
right,
a Marine,
so I'm
yeah.
generalizing.
You know what
You're
I mean?
absolutely
Like,
right.
it's-
Yeah.
Don't get all
Totally
butthurt about
stereotype.
it, bro. We're just discussing a topic as thinking people.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But
Right.
I can appreciate how, somebody, if they want to be conservative or whatever, but it just, this whole thing with the wall
It's
is just
it's an absurd idea.
right. Like it's just fucking.
It's a non-issue first off, but it's a very dumb way to fucking take care of that
Absurd, but enough
non-issue.
people. Absurd, but enough people believe in it that it's actually caused this fucking gridlock.
Oh, for sure, right?
It's
And
because-
so,
that's
like,
because
you
we
can't
fathom how to-
discredit that. Just say, "Oh, it's an absurd idea."
I
yeah,
get that,
but it's
but
got
at the
like
same time,
a certain number of
Ashtray,
motherfuckers behind it who believe in it.
Ashtray, at the
believe
same
in it.
time, there's been little girls that have murdered other little girls over a guy named Slender Man, which is equally as absurd of an
That
idea.
happened way before the wall battle.
It doesn't matter. I'm just saying.
It doesn't
it's an
matter, and
idea
that's
that people take to heart and get
it has
past.
nothing to do with the fucking wall.
The absurdity is the same concept, man. It's just as absurd. Just as stupid.
Comparing Slender Man murders to the wall, yeah.
Yes.
It's fucking ridiculous.
You're thinking the wrong. It's not the comparison, man. It's the fucking fact that it's an absurd idea that the general public takes to a fucking extreme level.
Do you think
You know what I'm
Slender
saying?
Man is still is there a Slender Man cult on
I'm
4chan?
sure there is. I'm almost positive. Dude, there's
I wonder
flat
if 4chan
earthers.
is still
Let's
around.
That's
use
true.
that as a
Okay.
better analogy. Flat earthers.
This is true.
Yeah, that's true.
There's enough of them to
90%.
fucking be a movement, if you will.
Right.
That is true. So,
Well, that took way too long. Anyway, who's
What
the
was
next?
I'm next.
who's the next one?
Fucking dickhead.
Oh yeah, Oracle, long shot mode.
Damn.
Anyways, you're challenging me on my assertion that the military was before the wall.
Yeah, we get it.
All right.
Well, you
Jesus
drug it out
Christ.
forever.
Yo.
I've been hankering for some sports lately. So
Buddy.
I
Head.
picked up on
Yeah.
Xbox you can get
Can't
EA
hear you.
All Access or whatever it is, where you get the pay $5 a month and then you get like basically year-old sports games or their entire library. And so I picked up Madden 18. I haven't played a Madden game in probably 15 years, or not seriously. And they have this single-player mode called Long Shot mode. And I just kind of thought that it was like, okay, you just go on there and it's like, oh, play in this. They're wearing high school uniforms or something like that. Oh, you can make it into college. Oh, you can make it into the NFL. And it's a full-blown story. And it took me about 4 or 5 hours to do it. You're on like a reality TV series where and there are all these like dialogue tree things that you go through. The story in that is better than most games that I've played through, like most single player games that I've played through recently. And you're doing like football stuff, like cool football stuff. Like they have a lot of really good motion capture stuff. So Dan Marino's in it, some famous coach guy. I can't remember who he was. And you kind of get into these like fun, like, oh, we're going to do a pickup game. And I can't remember some station, like air station or army base or something somewhere overseas. But it totally blew me away. I was like, hey, I kind of have low expectations for this, and it was awesome. Like, I couldn't put it down. I actually stayed up until like 3 o'clock in the morning until I finished it, which I haven't done that with a game in a long time. I'm also enjoying Madden 2018 quite a bit in that you can simulate through a lot of the portions of the game. So I'm playing a season, and I just put it on like the key moments mode or whatever. So it just gives me like third down moments, or when the defense needs to make a stop, or the offense, is in the red zone, or if it's a 2-minute drill. And I just play that, and then it just skips through the rest of the game. Where I can jump in at any point, but it's I'll finish a game in 10 to 15 minutes, and I kind of get that experience. But somebody like me, I don't get it. I'm not there for the whole thing. I'm just enjoying it for what it is. So yeah.
Yeah, move the fucking internet browser. The people who are watching are just leaving.
Oh.
Can't see us.
Whoops.
God damn. Editor, director,
yeah.
Oracle.
Well, fucking Ashtray disappeared too. Or
Did I?
Teddy disappeared too.
Yeah,
God
Teddy
damn it.
took off and went piss or something.
But it's good.
I'm here, motherfucker.
Check it out. $5 a month, that's a good deal.
All right, so some dumb football shit. Anyways, now we're moving on to fuck what you think. Which is me. I'll keep it brief. The Venezuela diplomatic shitstorm. You guys been listening to this recently?
Mm-mm.
It sounds like something that could be a bigger deal now because Trump was like, well, we don't recognize you as president. We're going to recognize the guy who didn't win. Maduro, I believe. And so Maduro was like, well, fuck you. Get your diplomats out of here. Close down the embassy. And Trump's like, well, fuck you. We're not leaving. And I can only imagine being the actual diplomats there. Be like,
yeah,
fuck.
right.
Like, god damn it. Calm down, people. Like, it's going to be a whole Iran, remember when they kidnapped everybody at the embassy when they stormed it in Iran?
Well, yeah, we watched the movie, didn't we?
Yeah, Argo. That's
Argo. They just need to show them comic books at the
That's right.
the airport.
At the airport. That's how they speak up. Right. Comic books in their native tongue. That's all you need. So, yeah, anyways, there's talk that possibly, or this whole point of basically saying, no, we're not leaving, is like instigating Maduro to do something that's going to give the U.S. an excuse to go into Venezuela.
Mm-hmm. He needs a war.
Yeah, he needs a war.
Yeah. Now that Mattis is
needs-
gone, he can probably do whatever the fuck he wants.
Well, he needs his war. And the thing is, he spent his presidency talking about how dumb the wars were in the Middle East. But if he could have his own war in Venezuela and say it's because they they attacked our
That's
people.
a completely different continent.
Yep. They're terrible people. So, anyways, guys, keep your eyes on that. That could turn into something big, especially a good diversion from all the shit.
Real stories.
The real stories that are coming down. All right, next, Oracle, having crackhead dental problems.
Yes. I'm fucking sick of this bullshit.
Oh, more? What happened?
Well, so I had the root canal, which I should have had a long time ago.
Did it
but
not take?
As a result of that, I had a blister on the bottom of my tongue. Let me tell you something.
You got that Ebola, bro.
That shit
This
is
ain't
fucking
shit.
painful. Like now it's recovering. It's almost recovered. But holy fucking shit. To have a blister on the bottom of your tongue that's always
What the
rubbing.
blister come from?
It
Yeah,
was from the
remember,
infection and shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
so that was like just all part of that same infection.
Yeah.
And
Part of the same infection. But I'm fucking right. Why the fuck do I have fucking crackhead mouth problems?
Were you
fucking
going to the
broke,
dentist every 6 months
I
prior to this?
was. I drink coffee. That's all I drink.
Damn.
I brush my teeth.
Well, see, I had a
95.5%.
dental scare, which, got me into be like, fuck it, I make enough money, I just got to pay to go to the dentist, because there's so many studies now that show how, like, bad, dental problems can cause, like, Alzheimer's and shit. They're finding, like, some of the same bacteria.
I mean, how did people survive back in the day?
Oh, they didn't.
They just fucking died.
They never lived this
They
long.
just had toothaches and died.
Yeah, or they had someone knock their teeth out early. I don't know.
Boom. There you go.
God damn. All right. Moving on to Teddy. Bullshit beta bitches.
I am installing Madden right now, buddy. Just to let you know.
Boom.
Okay, so there I like doing betas. I like doing demos. I just got done downloading the Anthem demo. Can't wait to play it. A lot of demos and betas are meant to do stress tests on the game, find any bugs or anything else, and also let people try a game out before they buy it and spend $60 on it. There's a game that's coming out called Shonen Jump. They had a beta last week, and it was just a fighting game. Dragon Ball Z did the exact same thing. They wanted to stress test the internet and everything else in the game when it runs. But in order to do that, they only had the beta up for 3 hours, which is not 3 hours on one day, which is not a good way to stress test a game, or a good way to find bugs, because you need to let somebody play it for more than 3 hours to go through. The demo I just got done downloading for 3 days straight. From Friday, they open up on Friday, and from Friday until Sunday, from Friday afternoon to Sunday afternoon, you can be able to play this beta as much as you want, and give feedback and everything else. I just don't like how these companies. It seems like they were trying to like trick people into, if you didn't make the beta time, which was, I think was for us it was like 3 to 6 or something on like a Friday, which a lot of people are working in and stuff like that. If you didn't make the beta time, then you were just shit out of luck.
Yeah. Shit out of luck.
So I mean, I'm not gonna buy the game, and I wanted to check out the beta, but they also had some problems with the system, so they couldn't get it to work right.
Lost you as a customer.
Right. I'm not even if the game drops to $5, I'm not gonna buy it. There was a good
Just a spite.
Just a spite. A good example of how a beta would work, I would say, would be the Titanfall 2 beta, or even Titanfall 1 beta.
That was good.
When it came out, it was a private beta, and then like I think it was like they did a 3-day thing, and on the second day, they opened it up to everybody. He sent out one of the guys sent out a thing on Twitter, said, I want as many people to download this beta because we're gonna try to break the game, and that was And so it opened up to everybody on Xbox, and then they extended it for 2 more days, up until like Tuesday or something. And it was like that's how a beta is supposed to work, to get people to try to stuff out. And just the way they did this thing for 3 hours is not a good way to test out a game, to find bugs that people are going to find when the game comes out, or to fucking get ample feedback on the game. And so I think
Titanfall
it's kind
2 was such a good game.
it was a real good game.
It was a great
They're
game.
supposed to be coming out with by the way, so
That's good.
you got
Good
that.
game.
Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. God damn it.
Word. All right. Fuck what you think. Mystic, Punisher Season 2.
All right, so here I like this. I like the season, but
You don't
I think
like
the reason. Here's the thing. I think the reason that these Netflix Marvel series are going down or are being canceled is because there's too much of this, like, I call it emo teenage drama bullshit. You know what I mean?
it? Oh, yeah.
Like this whole like,
No, we don't.
Well, a lot of
"Oh,
comic book dramas.
I have this.
teenage-
I have this internal, like, this internal struggle as to whether
Struggle.
I should be a superhero. And dude, are you fucking kidding me? Just go kick someone's ass. That's all we want to see. You know what I'm saying?
Get to work.
And I was just fine with Punisher up until right where Teddy is right now, where Frank, or the Punisher, thinks that he fucking murdered these 3 hookers,
Yeah.
and he really didn't.
Doesn't he
He did.
kill fucking like thousands of
Like,
people?
he feels
Here's the
guilty,
thing.
is what you're
Here's
saying?
the thing. We have literally watched this dude ruthlessly murder hundreds of people on
Hundreds of
screen
people. Right. Yeah.
without
I mean,
remorse.
holy shit.
So
And
he's in
accidentally
this...
kills 3 hookers, and all of a sudden he's like, fucking, I'm done. What? Well, who wrote this?
Yeah,
What are you
right.
fucking kidding me? This is the Punisher.
Yeah.
This is
Collateral
amazing.
damage.
You know what I mean? He punishes things. Like, he
Old
just
got in the
murders
way.
people. Like the
Yeah,
choreography, the action is incredible. It's great. It's the best Netflix Marvel series there is, I think.
I think it is.
And I'm hoping. So there's like a caveat to this. Fuck what you think, because I'm hoping that there's a 3rd season, and he just becomes the Punisher. Because
Isn't
the
he
final.
Punisher?
The thing
Well,
is, no, he's
in
like got
the
this
season,
struggle.
in the season,
He's
he
got like
said
this
something where-
struggle, like, should I be the Punisher? Yeah, I'm just an, like,
He's
like
not the
that's what I
fucking
mean.
Punisher yet.
Well,
The thing is,
that's
in the
thing
show,
This
in the
is an
second
origin
season,
story?
he says
What's
that-
going on here?
Well, in
I'm
the
hoping
second
that
season, he
this.
says that there's a line he says where the Punisher's not my name; it's the name they gave to me, and I don't like it. So technically, they call him the
Yeah,
news every day call
But
him the
he
Punisher.
accepts it. You
but he-
haven't seen the scene yet,
Oh,
but
really?
dude, it's incredible. It's the best thing. They ended it perfectly because he walks into this warehouse with these fucking like 30 guys like getting ready to shoot each other, and one dude goes, "Oh, you want to dance?" And all of a sudden, you hear Frank Castle go, "Hey, I'll fucking dance with you." And like he walks into the light and he's got the vest, the Punisher vest on with the long black overcoat, and he just whips out these 2 fucking gigantic machine guns. It just lights up and he's like, ah, and it just ends. I was like, that is the fucking greatest shit ever. That's what it should have been from the fucking beginning. The Punisher punishes things.
Save the best for last, I guess.
If it makes you feel better, Mystic, in the comic books, the Punisher gets a hold
really?
of War Machine's armor and
Jazz.
fucks some shit up.
Oh
think
my
he, like,
god!
I think he nuked somebody too. I think he nuked some country.
Sure he did.
He nukes a country.
Yeah, he
How long
gets a
has
hold of.
Punisher been around as a character?
He's been around for a while.
Since
I don't know.
Sorry.
exactly.
That story's
Oh,
got to
really?
have been.
Yeah, he's been
Yeah.
around for a while.
It was in
He's probably had all kinds of storylines.
There's also a what if comic where fucking the Punisher has Spider-Man's powers and his web shooters are guns. I think I sent a picture of Mystic.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know,
Okay.
check it out, but don't expect to. If you like drama, you'll like it. I'm not into that.
All superheroes were emo at one time.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
like
Yeah, they were.
Not Batman.
To sell to teenagers.
Fucking
Emo Batman.
Batman was super emo.
Yeah,
He's the
Yeah, he is.
emoest of the
parents
emos.
killed in front of me.
My parents got killed. That's what all emo people sound like.
That's exactly what it sounded like too.
Like they have this inner struggle, but it's not really a struggle. It's just like it's the sound that they want you to think is a struggle. You know, just so you ask them a question. You know, like, oh, what's wrong? I don't want you to talk to me.
I don't want to talk about it.
Fucking emo.
Oh, I can't play the demo yet. Oh.
Well, in that case, in all seriousness, ladies and gentlemen, go fuck yourself, Escanaba, Michigan. That's our show.
Escanaba
Eskimos.
in the moonlight.
Escanaba in the Moonlight. Crazy ass show movie. That's our show. We're gonna be here usually Wednesday night.
Usually
We had to
Wednesday, yeah,
postpone
but
tonight.
you know.
10 p.m. Central. Make sure you join us for the conversation at theredeyereport.com or facebook.com/theredeyereport. You can also twiddle us at twitter.com. It's just Red Eye Report, but no one cares about that shit. Like us, share us, and fuck us. We're down for whatever. I am Ashtray.
I'm Oracle.
I'm Mystic.
And I'm Teddy.
And this is the Red Eye Report.
Booyah.
I was wondering if you're waiting on that was everybody.
The hour 15